I love finesse fishing. There's so many different techniques, but catching them is something you're guaranteed pretty much when you're finesse fishing. Well, one of my favorites is a wacky worm. And basically what you do is you take a worm and instead of rigging it at the head, you know, Texas rigging it, you hook it in the middle. And it just collapses and comes back. And the number one bait we use is like a little ocho. So the ocho type baits, they collapse, they're really good, they're heavily salted, they sink. And let me show you how I rig them. So wacky tool number one has little O-rings. And the reason for this is you can slide that O-ring to the front, you take your bait, and you want to kind of judge where halfway is. You just slide your bait in about halfway, and you can just slide your rubber O-ring right off the top. So now you have it in the middle. Now you go, well, why do you need that? You can just hook the bait. Yes, you can. So I can take my wacky hook and hook it right in the center and fish it, and everything's good. But what happens, you'll tear that bait up. And sometimes if you're really flinging it, these baits are soft and you can see they're really gooey and just wonderful action. Well, sometimes you'll throw them off or rip them up or tear them up before you ever catch a fish. O-ring, you might catch 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 before you ever lose that bait on an O-ring. So let me show you the hooks now. Most people use a wacky hook, and everybody has one. This is a trocar. Some of them are weedless. This is a weedless wacky, and then some of them don't have weeds. If you don't want to weed, if you're around open water, nothing out there, rocks, and you want to throw a wacky ocho, you don't need the weed guards. What I can do, I can just cut them off, break them off, whatever, and that's fine. So I generally just get the weedless ones with the weed guards, and now I can fish it in any situation. So once you have your little ring on there, you just take your bait, hook it on, and here you go. So now you have the perfect deal. So what type of tackle do I need? First thing, spinning rods, finesse techniques. I'm going to use spinning tackle, free flow a line, open it up, it just falls out, makes it where I can take a little itty bitty light bait and make a super long cast. Next thing I'm going to use is Finesse fluorocarbon. Absolutely the single best fluorocarbon for finesse fishing. Technique specific, incredible line. I generally like using with this, you can use anything. I mean, you can go from the 5 because the 5.1, because if you're in super crystal clear water, that's fine. You just pull into them out west. It's great to use little old light stuff like that. And you can go all the way up to the 8.4 that you want to use, because you really don't have to set the hook that hard. Throw it out and you let it sink. Now there's a couple little rigging things that you can do. You see, I put these right here and I'm going to show them to you. These are tungsten nails, right? And they're 3 different sizes, and you can get them even smaller. You get 32nd of an ounce. And all you do is you take your bait and you can put it in the head, if you want it to drop head first to sink faster. You can put it in the middle, which is where I put it most often. I put it in just before I put that little O-ring on, then I snap the O-ring right around where this is and it holds it in, and that lets it flutter down a little faster. Now what I do that for is to get it down quicker. So get it down to the bottom. I let it fall. This is a technique where I jiggle a lot. So I'm down here and I let it fall, let it sink to the bottom, and then I shake it. And what that does, imagine that, is that you're shaking it. Here it goes. So this is collapsing back, coming forward, collapsing back. As you shake it, then you let it fall down, and it still has that neat flutter as it falls. Wacky style, man, is it good. Throw it out there, finesseful. No weight for shallow water, weighted for deep, deep water and deeper stuff, and quicker fall, and you have a great, great finesse technique. And I can tell you, catch them on it, pull into them. You don't have to do a monster hook set, and you've got them. Have fun wacky worming, because it is incredible.